We saw a lot of similarities between the Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers in the opening round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, which leads us to believe this could be a very close series. All the info is coming up ahead right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Start of a new week. Tony Cardasco, longtime sportscaster, marketing consultant, and the host of the new Believe in Vegas podcast. He is Chris Golick, owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Thanks for making us your number one choice. Your first listen each and every day. We are the only daily Vegas Golden Knights podcast. Coming up ahead, VGK wins the series if blank. Should be like blankety blank. And then NHL Stanley Cup second round predictions. We are brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app today. Use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get $20 off of your first purchase. So, Chris, some similarities between VGK and Edmonton. That's how I started to break things down when I took a look at this series. But in the opening series, each team trailed in the best of seven series. At one point, Edmonton rallied from an 0-2 deficit. VGK was down 2-1 to the Wild. Each team relied heavily on its depth scoring as the superstars get off perhaps to slow starts or what have you, but depth scoring was a big piece in each of those series. Goaltending improved in both of those series. You have to talk about that as each series progressed. Adin Hill got stronger for VGK against Minnesota. First three games, not so good. Last three games, pretty good. First three, his save percentage was .827. Journeyman Calvin Pickard picked up the pieces 2 games into the series for Edmonton against LA as Stuart Skinner gave up 11 goals. And each team turned their series around on coaches' challenges. When you think about it, of course, Jim Heller, the Kings coach, challenging for goalie interference and a kick in game number 3 unsuccessfully. The Oil ties the game, and then LA goes on with the man down when they were man up, I guess, on the power play, and they score the game-winning goal on the power play. VGK dodged a loss in game number 5 when Ryan Hartman's late goal probably would have given Minnesota a win, and that was taken down to Gustav Nyquist's offside. So did you see any other similarities with these two teams in the first round that might carry over into round 2? I think it's pretty interesting the way that things shook out in that first round.
Definitely a lot of similar storylines, as you alluded to. Both teams down in the series, both teams come back. You had some exciting, gut-wrenching moments along the way. And starting on the Oilers side, I think a lot of people kind of felt they were down and out. The Kings were going to run them in 4 or 5 games after the first 2 games of the series. And again, we're talking about an Edmonton Oilers team that was not fully healthy down the stretch. McDavid, Draisaitl both were in and out of the lineup, and they got better as the series went on. I did make a comment somewhere along the way that I'm more concerned about the Oilers maybe not in the first round as much as I am in the second round, because if they do get through the first round, that's when they might wind up finding their game, and they might become a much more difficult team to beat. Goaltending is maybe where there's a little bit of a gap. Yes, there's definitely both goalies got better. Can Pickard wind up out goaltending Adin Hill? I'm not so sure about that. On the defensive side, you've got a couple defensemen for the Oilers getting a lot of time on ice per game. Bouchard 25-42, Darnell Nurse 24-54, and even Brent Kulak at 24-13. As far as how that compares to the Golden Knights defenseman, Noah Hannafin, 23-06, Pietrangelo, 22-30. I got a feeling Pietrangelo's name is going to come up a lot throughout this, not just today's show, but probably the next 9 to 12 days.
Yeah, the palm tree's coming out of my head today. Will Edmonton continue to roll Draisaitl and McDavid on the top line? And how difficult of a matchup is it going to be for VGK if that happens? Because this isn't a team that just has a top line. like Minnesota, pretty much outside of its top line, really not a ton of production. But with this Edmonton team, they roll four lines too. I think that that is the key matchup on which lines can dominate in this series.
When you look at the bottom of the Oilers' time on ice, youngster Pod Colson, Trent Frederick, Jeff Skinner, they're between 10:08s and 11:52 time on ice per game. Tanner Pearson was really low at 7:48, but he exited the one game. Kolesar, Howden, 11:20, 12:40, Nicholas Waugh, 14 minutes. So the Golden Knights are doing a little bit better at rolling four lines. And I think Coach Cassidy will make sure to keep on doing his best to roll all four lines. Something that is interesting to me, and I've been asking this question on Twitter. I asked this when I was on with the host of Locked On Oilers for the crossover that came out late on Sunday nights. But no one's given me an answer. So my question, and David Staples, I asked him too, and I tagged all the Oilers fan base, and I didn't get an answer either. What is Coach Knobloch going to do when he needs a goal? You know you're going to get a healthy dose of McDavid and Draisaitl. The top line as it sits right now is McDavid, Draisaitl, and Corey Perry, which I actually like. We'll get more into that, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah.
Question was, what can Knobloch do besides triple and quadrupling and whatever the next number is after that, triple and quadruple shifting Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid? How are they going to find that goal elsewhere? And that's, of course, going to flow into the second segment. And the answer I got from the Lockdown from Nick, the Locked On Oilers host, was Corey Perry on the top line. Well, that's how the series is going to start, Corey Perry on the top line.
So, Perry versus Barbashev. I think it could boil down to that.
Perry versus Barbashev. You never know, maybe.
I mean, you think about it on top lines. If it does come down to that, that's interesting, right?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, kind of a fight fire with fire type of thing. I mean, listen, I'm excited that we have 4, 5, 6, or 7 games of a team featuring both Corey Perry and Evander Kane for a playoff round. I think that just makes for such great TV, such great entertainment, theater, whatever terminology you want. Have the popcorn ready because it's going to be a good time.
They split the 4-game series, but 3 of the games were played before American Christmas. So again, it's just so stupid, the scheduling here, how teams in the same division don't play each other. Each team relatively healthy right now. And for round 2, we don't know about Pavel Dorofeyev, missed game 6 and is listed as day-to-day. And the Oil is missing Matthias Ekholm. And Chris Knobloch already said he'll be out the entire series. His last game, April the 11th, 33 points. And Evan Bouchard is, again, his top line mate there defensively. And so they've had to mix up things there defensively for the Oilers here in that first series. So defenses aren't solid right now. Alex Pietrangelo, Passenger Petro, as you mentioned there, slept slow. And without Ekholm, you've got Nurse on the line with Bouchard is how they started off in that last series. And Wallman was moved up with Bouchard, Nurse, and Kulak. But again, I think that there is going to be a lot of movement here with the lines. Neither coach would be afraid to switch things up and to change the lines here as needed. And, one thing that really stood out about Knobloch this past week, he said, we're not going to play the same game that we did against the Kings. We're going to have to make a lot of changes based on VGK's personnel and their structure.
Yeah, I mean, the Golden Knights advanced, the Kings didn't. So the Golden Knights, of course, seem to have a better situation, I guess, than the LA Kings. Although the Kings I don't know if the Kings maybe had the Oilers figured out for a couple of games or if it was just more the Oilers needed a little extra time to find their game. Kind of like how the Minnesota Wild found their game for a moment. And then the Golden Knights, of course, that was that. Just a couple things to think about, I guess. Number one does involve Knobloch. Knobloch is a Game 7 Stanley Cup loser. I know that's not me knocking him. I'm simply saying that Knobloch earned a wealth of experience during last year's NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Very famously, Connor McDavid was seen bawling his eyes out. And again, I'm not knocking him for doing that. He just lost Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. That's every person's dream that picks up a hockey stick to be in that situation. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. So you have Connor McDavid's tears, for lack of a better term, that are motivating this entire team. And also, Connor McDavid did score a very big goal in the Four Nations. He scored the game-winning goal to give Canada the gold. So again, just more experience in big circumstances and big moments. And McDavid remembers how that series played out season, 2 seasons ago against the Golden Knights. Leon Draisaitl definitely remembers how this played out. If you remember, Draisaitl was the victim of a pretty vicious hack by Alex Pietrangelo. Pietrangelo lucky to only get a 1-game suspension in that moment. And if you remember the handshake line, I think Pietrangelo went in for the sportsmanship moment. I don't think he was, being, rude or rubbing in or anything like that. Draisaitl, one of those handshakes where there's no eye contact and you don't squeeze, one of those. It was Draisaitl hasn't forgotten. So I don't think it's going to take too long for Draisaitl to find Pietrangelo in the first scrum, and away we go.
Don't worry about sportsmanship, because VGK has the Lady Bing candidate, Jack Eichel.
Yeah, that's
good. That's
a
participation trophy, bro.
It's a what trophy?
A participation trophy.
I think it's something that NHL players...
we got to give them something. We got to give them some sort of an award.
I think NHL players do honor that trophy very much, including Jack Eichel and the players
and
around
who else?
him.
Who else won?
And William Karlsson, I believe, is a Lady Bing winner, if I'm not mistaken.
He is, of course.
So listen, I get that, and good on Jack. And really quickly, I think he got a little bit of a snub when it came to the Selke. Not that the other 3 players. Well, so remember, Coach Cassidy talks about face-offs as the Achilles heel for Eichel when it comes to Selke consideration. It was Sam Reinhart, 2 players from Florida, Reinhart and Barkov. I think Barkov wins this going away. But Reinhart, his face-off percentage is 41.9% to Jack Eichel's 46%. So that kind of confuses me how Reinhart became a finalist and over Jack Eichel, but so be it. There's bigger fish to fry as far as trophies in the next.
Now I remember you were listed as a homer in the Edmonton Journal.
Yeah, I was listed as a homer, but I think the stat about Bruce Cassidy's mouth is watering, knowing Darnell Nurse is going to be out there 24 minutes a game, was a little better of a quote.
Okay, so you talked about face-off percentage. VGK, do they have an advantage there, because the Oilers were just 42% from the dot in that opening series? We talked about the importance of face-offs.
Yeah, no, that's a good perspective. Something good to bring up. The Golden Knights were, I think, 53 or 56% in the series against the Minnesota Wild. And again, you're going to have to, let's hit this a little bit harder, but there's no stopping Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Again, there's no stopping them. They're going to each have, McDavid had the quiet, I think it was Staples that said it actually. McDavid had the quietest 11 points in a playoff series you're ever going to see.
That's astounding. When I look back and I go, he had 11 points. I didn't remember him scoring that many.
There's no stopping the 2 of them, and the Golden Knights are going to do their best to limit them. And it starts in the face-off circle. Like, even if it's you win a face-off, it's 8, 10, 12, 30 seconds, depending on where the face-off is won, it's that much more puck possession time. So if the Golden Knights can keep that advantage in the face-off circle, that's big. It's important. It's not the be-all end-all, but it's one of probably 4 or 5 important measurable statistics that need to closely tilt the Golden Knights' way from to advance.
We're going to have so many angles to report on this week. And coming up next, VGK wins this series if blank. We'll get to that as we return right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and if you've never been to a live NHL playoff game, it's unlike anything else. The intensity, the speed, the energy in the building, it is all next level. And thanks to Gametime, getting in the door is easier and more affordable than ever. Gametime is the fastest way to grab playoff tickets, even for those must-see matchups like VGK and Edmonton. And, of course, it's not Monarch Money, bro. It's Gametime right now, I think. But that's okay. we'll get to that in a moment. But here's what I really like about Gametime: last minute deals. Save up to 60% buying last minute for sports, concerts, for comedy, for theater, and much, much more. And I definitely like the all in pricing. It shows the total cost up front, no surprise fees at checkouts. And of course, the app even shows you panoramic seat views so you know exactly what you are getting before you buy. I know I'm protected, whether it's cancellation protection, job loss protection in this crazy world of ours, or their 24-hour return guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets on Game Time today. Simply download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get $20 off of your first purchase. Again, use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you'll receive $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Have you ever checked your bank account and wondered, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, of course, everything that happens here in Vegas, entertainment wise, it's so easy to lose track. Yes, it is. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It is your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center, and you can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So just stop the managing of your money and start to build wealth. Why not? And of course, I just realized how much I spend on everything here in Vegas. We eat out a ton, me and the friends all the time. And that definitely does add up. And managing money with your partner is even smoother than ever before because you can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without stress. Take control of your finances today with Monarch Money. Just use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com. Again, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com. Welcome back from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. Chris on the controls today. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast, of course. Fridays, WTF with the Friday. That is a great addition to our repertoire here. And of course, on Saturdays, the last 2 weekends, the Chris times Chris Jr. show. So we got you out to the ballpark the other night. What was that dessert you had? Everyone follow at TD Chris G on Twitter, on X, because he has got some great dessert photos up there.
Somebody asked me as I was walking out with it in my hand, like, what is that? I said about 2,000 calories. No, it's they call it the Grand Slam. It's a chocolate milkshake with whipped cream, 2 brownies stacked
you shared with the family, right? You shared.
Yeah, we were all there.
You shared it with them.
We were all there. They had a nibble.
Okay, a little nibble.
A couple brownies, and then they stuck more whipped cream. Then they stuck an Oreo, like an ice cream sandwich Oreo on top, and more whipped cream, and it was fun. It was fun. There's no replacing what I love talking about. There's no replacing just the smell of ballpark food, and they do such a good job at that at the Las Vegas ballpark. Great time, fun night, beautiful weather, and always cool catching a baseball game.
And kudos to our guy Dave out there.
Yeah, Dave was awesome. Set us up, gave us some hats as well, and really took care of us. And
he's a good.
Me and the VP maybe had an adult beverage too, and it was nice.
Nice. So, what does VGK have to do to win this series against Edmonton? Well, again, when you look at things, the no-brainer is Eichel and Stone. They have to score. Do they give up some scoring? Do they give up some scoring chances though, while they are chasing down on the ice? Draisaitl and Mick, like, what happens here? Because do they chase McDavid around the ice? You have to give up something from your offense if you're trying to play defense against that top line. Oh yeah, and don't forget about Corey Perry.
So if you go back to when the Golden Knights defeated the Edmonton Oilers a couple seasons ago, very famously, I think it was, it wasn't the game, the deciding game, or maybe it was, but there was a stick lift where Eichel stole the puck from McDavid, and it wasn't Pietrangelo, he was suspended, but someone else just, took the shot it in the empty net from far away. And then, of course, you have William Karlsson slowing down again. I'm not going to say he stopped him, but slowing down Connor
I still
McDavid.
disagree.
So the biggest difference now is you have William Karlsson and Jack Eichel on the same line for games 1, 2, 5, and 7. Of course, if necessary for 5 and 7, you can have Eichel and William Karlsson out there as much as possible with Draisaitl and McDavid. For the other 3 games of the series, of course, the Oilers have a last change, and that matchup's going to change a little bit. So for me, filling in this sentence, VGK wins the series if they hold the McDavid and Draisaitl, not the line, but if their contributions are limited to 2 goals per game, I think the Golden Knights win the series. The Oilers have some depth scoring, but it all goes through, of course, McDavid and Draisaitl. That's not a good take. I'm almost saying the Golden Knights can spot that duo 2 goals. Maybe the Oilers get a 3rd goal from somewhere else in the lineup, and the Golden Knights can win a lot of 3-2, 3-2, and 4-3 hockey games because the Golden Knights should not have a hard time scoring on Calvin Pickard. I'm not gonna go get away from that. Now, there's a chance again. Nick from Locked On Oilers pointed out that Knobloch mentioned at some point Skinner might get back into the series.
Yeah,
they're going to ride Pickard as long as they can, and I don't think the Golden Knights have a hard time scoring. So almost the Michael Jordan effect, right? Let Michael Jordan score 50. Hope the rest of the offense can't score 60 points.
not a chance. Not a chance. There's so much more firepower than the Wild had on lines 2, 3, and 4. So
but are they going to contribute though?
Zach
On
Hyman,
paper, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins,
Henry,
Evander Kane. There's a lot of
Kane,
really good players. Matthias Janmark is scoring goals from the fourth line.
yeah, Arvidsson. Holy smokes, dude! And then the defense. We're not even talking about the defensive guys that like to shoot the puck a lot as well. I think it's a dangerous matchup. I mean, Wallman can score, and Klingberg, and your guy Nurse can even score, although he gives up a lot of shots too.
Nurse statistically is actually a lot better than people give him credit for. I will certainly acknowledge that. And speaking of that, again, Pietrangelo, I'll fill in another. Vegas wins the series. Vegas wins the series if Pietrangelo is healthier.
Is scratched? What'd you say?
Is healthier.
Okay.
Than he was.
Is it health, or is he just he just reminds me of Alec Martinez a season ago, starting to fade away and slowing down a ton?
I mean, good God, I think he's blocked 1,000 hockey pucks. I still remember getting hit with 1 hockey puck on the inside of my wrist in a beer league game when it was about 10:30 at night. How bad it hurt! And this dude's out here taking NHL shots from players night in and night out. So yeah, Martinez definitely slowed down, and Pietrangelo's slowing down too. He's
slowing down.
He's slowing down, but if he is healthier, the biggest concern that I have, if we were going to back this up to a VGK loses the series, if the biggest concern that I see is Pietrangelo, and I see the way Matt Boldy and Kaprizov just absolutely owned him throughout the series in one-on-one circumstances. Connor McDavid's a little better than those two. A little better. And so is Draisaitl, but McDavid in the one-on-one situations. So I'm concerned about
major concern.
I'm concerned about the matchup of Pietrangelo versus McDavid. 100%.
VGK has to outscore Edmonton on special teams. So the Oilers, not as efficient as they were last season, but still a dangerous team, or not as efficient as a couple of years ago, right? Game 5, we remember 2 years ago. Got to stay out of the box here, folks. VGK scores twice, the 2-man advantage. They overtake Edmonton, who was leading in that game 2-1. Game 5 was the deciding factor. 2-man advantage. VGK scores. They had an empty netter later, or they go ahead in that game. First, they score an empty netter, and that was it. So that is important. Special teams, a lot of focus on that, because let's see what Edmonton can do. Can they match VGK with its power play unit? And then depth scoring is so important. It really is. I feel it's more important for VGK. In the closeout game for Edmonton, 6 goals from 6 different players, not named McDavid or Draisaitl. Draisaitl in that closeout game against the Kings he was off the score sheet, right? And then McDavid had 1 point. I'm telling you, the depth scoring, everyone is talking so much about VGK's depth scoring, don't forget about Edmonton because they can get it from everywhere. They really can.
So special teams, LA. This is playoff special teams. LA Kings were 40% against the Edmonton Oilers penalty kill. The Golden Knights, their power play was 27.78%, right around where they were in the regular season. Oilers were 38.46%. So Oilers maybe had a little more of a dynamic power play. But going back to the regular season, Golden Knights were second overall at 28.34%. Edmonton down at 23.72, which had them right around 10th or 11th. So special teams, I think, are going to play out pretty evenly in this series, if not tilted for the Golden Knights, because Oilers can't defend. Oilers can't defend on the power play, and this is where you need that goaltender that's going to be the best penalty killer. And again, Pickard is the goalie for every single, or the starting goalie for every single game this series will not be as close as Oilers fans wish it would be.
So Pickard, though, is an emotional leader with this team. You could tell that he gave them a spark. He definitely did. And even McDavid was talking about him and how much they play for that goalie. That's a big difference to me. It's a big difference over Skinner.
Yeah, and let's see him let up some goals, and let's see what McDavid's saying all of a sudden.
I get it. Journeyman. Go ahead.
He's been around since
He's a journeyman.
2015, 16, 14,
No,
15.
Wasn't he a first-round pick for VGK? He never.
No, he was not a VGK pick. No.
Where'd he come from?
VGK grabbed him either.
He never played for the Golden Knights. He was in the expansion draft.
No, so really quickly here, Calvin Pickard, I got all the details. So Pickard actually had a really promising start, played 16 games with the Avalanche, put up a .932 save percentage, 49th overall, 2010 draft. Took until 2014 to get into the NHL, so that tells you something right there. From 2014 to the 2024-25 season, Pickard's appeared in 180 NHL games. Now you got to think that this dude might have had some playoff games somewhere around the stretch, right? Somewhere in the queue.
Was he in the queue? Did he play?
No, WHL Seattle Thunderbirds. Okay. Maybe he was Jay Theodore's teammate.
Q's our favorite.
23-24. Pickard played 3 games in the playoffs. Put up a .909. Let's give him credit. Put up a .909 and a .245 goals against. Those are his only 3 starts prior to this season, where he now has 4 starts. So this experience is paramount. And I get he's a 33-year-old journeyman, so he's been around. Maybe he doesn't need as many playoff starts to understand playoff hockey as a 22-year-old might, but this just has to be the number
Can he last all 7 games? Can he last all 7?
Well, again, we're going to see Skinner the first time. I think Pickard falters a little bit, and I'm okay with that too. You mean the Golden Knights are the Golden Knights either have to beat journeyman Pickard with 7 NHL playoff appearances in 10 years, or they have to beat a cold Stuart Skinner off the bench. I don't see either one of those working out well for the Edmonton Oilers.
How many?
So unless the Oilers are going to score.
How many 5-hole goals does Hill give up? I'm going to go over 4.5.
Fine, let him give up 5 goals. I mean, the Oilers are going to have to win 6-5, 5-4, 7-3 type of games to advance in this series.
We got to get out of this segment.
Get out. Okay.
We have more tomorrow, of course, leading into the game, and a lot more. We'll do special episodes and what have you. But next, we've got the NHL Stanley Cup second round predictions. Stay with us right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more, experts ready to help you to take your business to the next level. And Upwork gives you business flexibility by connecting them with top freelance and talent across multiple industries, including IT, web development, AI, marketing, whatever. And whether you need extra hands for a project, for a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with a marketing campaign, I've done this from that side there. I found some work on Upwork in the past. Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who delivered incredible results. And posting a job is free, it's simple, and within a day, with multiple qualified candidates, they can help you to choose from all of those and it's fast and it's easy hiring. Instead of hiring full-time, Upwork helps you to find affordable, top-tier freelancers to scale your business efficiently. Visit Upwork.com right now. Post your job for free. That is Upwork, UPWRK.com, Upwork.com. You connect with top talent and grow your business today. Again, visit Upwork.com right now to post your job for free and to connect with top talent. Welcome back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Mr. Dessert, Chris Golick. We appreciate you taking time to make us your first listen. We are the only daily Golden Knights podcast. Second round playoff. Oh my goodness. Game 7. First of all, cheers to the folks from Winnipeg. This is their first ever Game 7 in Winnipeg. I think it was. Holy smokes, did they show up and show out? They were standing the entire game.
How about they show up, support their dang team? Maybe come regular season. I mean, they're the biggest fair weather fan base in the National Hockey League.
That was phenomenal. So Winnipeg moves on after defeating St. Louis in double OT. Adam Lowry's deflection on the goal. Cole Perfetti, Mom Spaghetti. That's what I call him. I call him Mom Spaghetti. Scoring that goal with 1.6 seconds to go. What could have been for St. Louis? Holy smokes. And that was tremendous. So now we have another good series. Is Pete DeBoer correct when he says, man, the Central Division is the best division in the NHL? DeBoer now 9-0 in Game 7 after Mikko Rantanen goes bonkers with a hat trick to eliminate the Colorado Avalanche.
Let's hope the Central Division continues beating the living crap out of each other, and
that could happen.
7-game series.
Sure. They're all going to go 7, right? They'll be depleted by the time Edmonton plays them.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, great hockey, great theater, so much fun. It's what you live for as a hockey fan, and this first round kind of started a little slow, and then all of a sudden you had 4 Game 6s on Thursday. You get 2 Game 6s on the weekend, and it was absolutely awesome. And you can only hope to replicate as much of that as possible. And like I said, hopefully the Stars and Jets get nice and comfortable with one another and see each other for about the next 450 minutes or so of hockey.
How about Connor Hellebuck gets pulled 3 times in that series and then comes back and just was superb in that contest last night late.
Oh, so that was late. Sure. Okay, fine.
What, you didn't think it was superb? I stopped everything.
The 5-hole goal he let up in the first period.
After
he was great. Of course. God, yeah, he was remarkable. 100%.
Yeah. I think someone had mentioned, what was it? Close to 100 minutes of game time that St. Louis didn't score a goal? Was it something like that?
No, I mean, listen, Hellebuck, maybe this is where the Jets get their wake-up call all of a sudden and figure it out. And, of course, let's talk about Connor Hellebuck. He's had a lot of demons in the playoffs, and maybe he just exercised them in a couple overtimes.
Did you see Neil Pionk? 46 minutes. 15 seconds on the ice, 46-15. He played in that game.
The average a little bit.
That'll catch up. I think you got to go against Winnipeg in Game 1 against. You have to against Dallas, I think. The other series, of course, in the West is VGK Edmonton. In the East, we've got the Hurricanes. Who do you like in that series, by the way?
Going back
Dallas
to the
is playing hot. Dallas is playing some good hockey, but now
I think did that first series take everything out of the Jets, or is it okay? We got our lifeline now. Let's buckle down and figure this out. I'm gonna go with the latter. Injuries, of course, we'll see if the Jets can come back to health or not, but I think the Jets are actually going to
call them frauds,
benefits, and get past the Stars and call it 6
we call them frauds. I think so.
I did call them frauds 100%.
If it goes to 7, they lose, of course, so they have to eliminate them in 6.
They spotted them
boring. Yeah, you have to pick in 6.
What are we saying for Vegas Edmonton in the series?
We'll say that tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I haven't decided yet, but you know where I'm headed.
Mine's out there, but that's fine. I'll wait.
Okay, so Hurricanes Caps in the East starts on Tuesday. Caps 4-1 over Montreal in their series. Canes 4-1 over New Jersey. I have the Caps winning this one at 4 games to 2.
Yeah, 6 games, same thing. Six games. Go Logan Thompson, go.
Okay, on Monday night, Maple Leafs hosting the Panthers. We're going to get a Canadian team. I think it was Money Puck had 36% chance of a Canadian team winning the Cup.
So you're telling me the Jets have a 35% chance of winning the Cup or advancing to the Cup? That's what they're saying. Leafs ain't going. Leafs are done after the Panthers. It was
you think
fun.
they're done? I don't
They're
know,
done.
man. I'm starting
Panthers
to feel a little bit of
blow them out.
okay.
Blow them out.
I've got Toronto 4-2. Maple Leafs, they did do away with Ottawa, tough series, emotional series. Panthers 4-1 over Tampa, and we'll have to see. But I'm starting to feel a little bit of Toronto there. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them at 6.
Toronto's a good, and this is the best version of Leafs we've seen in a while. I just think the Panthers are a wagon. I think the Panthers are an absolute wagon, and
yeah, they're going to win it all. Colorado is. I thought.
Colorado was my pick for the Cup. Yeah, we missed on that one. I thought I was feeling pretty good on.
I said
on
Edmonton.
Saturday
I'm
night
going to
with
have
that.
to stick with Edmonton, right? If I said that, yeah.
I
said all Canadian Stanley Cup final. So someone's
that'd be good for hockey. Don't get me wrong. I obviously selfishly hope that doesn't happen. Here's what I want. I want the Golden Knights to advance, and then I want the Jets in the next round. And then if the Leafs were to advance to the Cup final, we'd be loving that for the podcast.
Yeah, of course, all of our good Canadian friends, and we appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. And welcome back to the show, Oilers fans. Because
a lot of YouTube comments from the Oiler fans. Appreciate everyone you guys
balance here, folks. This isn't going to be just the Golic Homer show. Somebody called you Homer in a column the other day, right? I think so. You are.
I'm the biggest Oiler fan in Nevada. Let's be clear about this. I am the biggest Oiler fan.
How many Oiler jerseys does Chris Jr. have?
He has one Oiler jersey, and then he has we both have the Gretzky Team Canada jersey. So that counts.
Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow with a more in-depth preview of game number 1. When is game number 1? Is that Wednesday or is that Tuesday?
Yeah, good job.
Okay. All right. Let me address this real fast. So someone at the arena was my source telling me that game 1 was on Wednesday. And I'm going back and forth. Okay, so it's Tuesday. I'm going to T-Mobile Wednesday night. There's got to be something going on there.
Hey, anyway. while we're going to go way long on this show, confirmed that they will be showing the games outside the arena from game 2 on.
Wait.
So there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, viewing parties outside, 125 degrees.
There should be viewing parties outside and everything.
125 degrees again.
Where fans showed up for the last 6 of 7 seasons.
The building only wouldn't open the stinking building in year number 1. Come on, man. They let people wilt out there. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow for my man, Chris Golic. I'm Tony Cardasco. We'll see you then right here on Locked On Golden Knights, and please take care.